Hey guys, I'm back to talk about more boots, and today we're going to talk about Sorels. They've been a longtime favorite of mine since I was a kid. Their new lineup is, actually it's hit or miss, but the hits are like really good. So let's get started. The newest boot is actually also my very favorite. So I'm starting off with my top choice here. Sorel's Ona Ave Alpine boot. These are waterproof, great traction. They are totally lined in fleece. Don't get distracted by the faux fur here, it's just around the collar. The rest of the boot, including behind the tongue, 360 around your foot, is all lined in super soft fleece. So like if you wanted to, you could wear these without socks. They have a really cushy bottom, they're easy to walk in, they're lighter weight than I would expect for a winter boot, and I really like these. The standard Ona Aves come in a bunch of different colorways. These were not the most practical choice, I admit, but they're beautiful and I love them. This is the Ona Ave Alpine boot, same boot, but it's their Lux version. Instead of feeling like suede, these have more of like a leather feel. It's croc embossed. And so I feel like the sides of these would wipe down easier. We do have some curly stuff over the top of the boot. The laces are a little metallic, and then the inside again is once again lined in that fleece. What I like about this particular boot though is the fact that it has some black accents between the laces and the sole here. Gives that boot enough grounding visually, so if you like to wear a ton of black in the winter, one could argue these look better with black because of that grounding sole. These won't balance the black as well. I actually wrote a whole article about my favorite winter boots, and I tried them all on with a bunch of different jackets. So if you're interested in that level of detail, we can link that article somewhere over here. Anyway, the Ona Ave in any colorway is a huge win. I love it. Next up, we have the Out and About line. So these are the Out and About Classics versus the Out and About Chillz. I'm not happy I had to say that out loud. But these are basically sturdier rain boots. They are waterproof, they're comfortable, they are not lined in any sort of fleece or furry stuff. These are really good for just if it's not that cold, but it's very wet. If you're used to the heavy Sorel boots, they have that sort of classic styling, but without that weight. I feel like all Sorel boots tend to run really narrow, and these have a slightly wider toe box, which is nice. The white part of the sole creeps up a little bit higher on the toe, and I like this because it keeps the boot from looking like it's just this big, black, boring boot, especially if your jeans are long. So the Chillz version of this boot, despite the name, they're actually pretty great. It's the same boot, but they're a little bit higher for snow. Now they're lined in fleece. We got a little bit of a furry collar. They are waterproof, just like the other ones, decent traction. And then we have a cute little detail at the toe. I have found that these are not the warmest ever winter boot. Just in practice, I have found that these are okay in terms of warmth, but they're not the warmest boot I've ever tried. Moderate winters is probably what these are best for. Next up are Sorel's Kinetic boots, or they're from their Kinetic line. And I have been wearing a pair of Sorels similar to this for 6 or 7 years. And here's the deal, these are ridiculously comfortable boots. I love these boots. They are super warm, they're really flexible, they're easy to walk in, the traction is fantastic. My only issue with these boots, they are so ridiculously narrow. Sorel boots always run really narrow, I found, and I have decently narrow feet, but these are the most narrow, I think, in their entire collection, at least that I've tried. But if you have narrower feet, I highly recommend these boots. They're toasty warm, they're really cute on, they come up nice and high, they have a drawstring, so no snow is gonna get in there. Almost perfect. Sorel, fix this shit. All right, next up we have, this is still part of the Kinetic line, so these are the Impact Conquest, and these are the Kinetic Impact Sport. So let's start with these, because I have owned a version of this exact boot for freaking years, and I love it. I love it so much. I wanted to order the latest version though, just to make sure that, they still feel like mine and see what any differences are. The one difference I'm happy to report on is the fact that I feel like past iterations of this boot have been excruciatingly narrow, and this one, the toe box, they've widened just a little bit. These are basically just really great winter hiking boots. This is the boot I wear to walk the dog almost every time. They have great traction, they have good flexibility, they come up just high enough without feeling like I'm putting on a whole big winter boot. I really like these. I have them in a couple different colors, and they're just really stinking useful. The sport version is really similar. I'm trying to decide if I would steer you guys one way or another. The sport version has the same bottom, just a different color. If you care about little fancy details like the patent leather, that's kind of nice. The side of the boot is more of a nylon puffy. So they're really comfortable. They don't have maybe the same support as the hiking boots, and they come up a little higher. So these are a little more maybe deeper snow ready. They're great. They fit and feel almost exactly like the other ones. So tiny, tiny differences. And then finally we're back to the Ona Ave line. I wanted to talk about these boots right after the Kinetic ones because I think this is like Sorel's latest version of the winter hiker. What's interesting to me about this is the fact that they feel like sneakers. I'm deeply suspicious that this grip will be as good as the hiking boots. You can see the difference here. So I'm a little worried that this will function more like a sneaker. That said, they're really comfortable. I absolutely love the styling here. Again, instead of having like a boring black boot, we have a little peak of tan. The laces are actually a light blue, which is really cool. I really like how these boots look. They feel great. Lined in fleece, waterproof, comfortable, and warm. They are a little on the narrow side, but they're not as tragically narrow as some of Sorel's boots. Once again, I wrote a whole article about my favorite winter boots, and the Sorel Ona Avs are definitely featured in there, and I tried on with a bunch of different jackets, so we'll link that up. And if you guys have any other questions about Sorels, whether you see them here or not, let me know. I've tried on a ton. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you soon.